Chapter 11, May 31st, early afternoon. I'm sitting down at 90 foot watching Mrs. Marshall crash through the woods. There is no method to her search. With her bare hands, she tears at the undergrowth, hurls rocks over, rips the junipers, flings fallen branches aside. She looks like some kind of rabid animal. Her hair is all matted, like it's in the early stages of dreadlocks. And cuts and scratches on her arms and her face shriek this nasty red. She's way too thin with these thin, sunken cheeks and hollow black eyes. I want to tell her to go home and take a hot bath, eat a good meal, read a book with her two other children, the ones I see sloughing around the center like they have no place to go. The search team has dwindled, but she's making up for it. I see her all the time, tearing crazily at some part of the canyon. I tried to talk to her once. It's frightening. Her eyes are unseeing like windows to some chaotic planet. She's nothing like the Mrs. Marshall I used to know, the one that taught us how to make Santa Claus ornaments during craft days in elementary school. She was so patient with Randy Carlisle, who got frustrated and began acting stupid, stuffing green embroidery thread up his nose. I told her she looked thirsty and offered to share some of my lemonade with her. "Can't you see I'm looking for my daughter?" she shrieked at me. "I haven't got time for that." She looked at my thermos like it held poison, and at me like how dare I interrupt her mission. I've seen Mr. Marshall bring her food. She shoves it in, not tasting, still looking, kicking the ground with her worn-out shoe. I've seen him, when it's nearing dark, nudging at her, gently pulling her arm, pleading with her to come home. He tries to calm her while she cries and carries on. Finally, reluctantly, she leaves Lynn Canyon and her little daughter, but just for that night. Chapter 12, May 31st, evening. Nana Jean worries a lot. She fusses over little things and doesn't smile very much. She's always telling Dad what to do. She tells me what to do. She tells Dad's brother, Uncle Sean, what to do, and his wife, Lily, as well. She has suggestions for Aunt Andrea, Uncle Nick, and all my cousins, too. Whenever we visit, she clears her throats a lot and fidgets with her rings while her hands are folded in her lap. She's totally unlike Grandpa was. He died of cancer when I was 5, but I still remember him bouncing me on his knee, tweaking my nose with his big, thundering laugh. I like Nana Jean. I love her, I guess. It's just that she's too critical to be fun. She's critical of herself and critical of other people. She can't stand the color of her new neighbors painted their fence, or the fact that the newspaper boy doesn't leave the paper right smack in the front of her door. She thinks Aunt Andrea should buy less expensive clothes and that my cousin Devin should get braces for his teeth. She tells me how to handle my emotions. She tries to psychoanalyze me. She tells me she knows how I'm feeling when she's so far off it's like a pathetic joke. But despite all this, I know she's not mean. It's just that, for her, these things make the world right. The only problem is, there's no end to them. Mom explained it to me like this. Your Nana's a good person, she said. Perhaps she takes life a little too seriously, but deep down she just wants us all to be happy. She wants us to be our best. Mom was able to listen patiently to Nana, nod sympathetically at her complaints, and for that reason, Nana Jean loved my mom. My dad could not have done better in choosing a wife. Because of this, I know Jennifer doesn't stand much of a chance tonight. It won't be anything she does at Nana Jean's or anything she says. It's just that, well, I know Nana could never imagine Dad with anyone else. Not exactly shocking. It's hard for me to imagine Dad with anyone else. And I know for a long time, for Dad, it was hard to imagine Dad with anyone else. Jen looks wicked in the clothes I picked out for her. She comes to the house early so I can do her hair. For the first half of the drive to Port Coquitlam, she asked questions about Nana. What are her interests? What was she like as a mom? Does she like chocolate? Does she like the kind of chocolate she brought her? And for the remaining part of the drive, she asked questions about herself. Do I look all right? What if she asks me to cook something? What if I inadvertently offend her? What if she doesn't like me at all? I find it kind of funny. For a person in charge of an entire bank, meeting Nana has Jen majorly unhinged. Relax, Dad and I both tell her. She'll like you, says Dad, and if she doesn't, well, that's her problem. Jen gives Dad this look. I know he's joking, but Jen doesn't know him so well. He smiles at her. I'm kidding. Of course she'll like you. How could she not? Nana meets us at the front door. She gives me this stiff hug, but not before she tells me my hair is too long, my skirt is too short, and I shouldn't wear such provocative nail polish. Provocative? I look at my nails. I thought it was a cool shade of orange. Mom, I'd like you to meet Jennifer Reed, says Dad. One thing about Nana is she has this way of making you real uncomfortable just by being silent. She does this to Jen right then. She stands back a little, looks at Jen, folds her arms. So this is Jennifer, is all she says. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Collins. Jen holds out her hand. Nana takes it as Dad pushes past her into the house. What's the problem with the garage door? He asks. We follow him in. Dad asks the question because he helps Nana with little things that go wrong around the house. Anything she can't fix. He doesn't mind. Grandpa was very good at woodwork and taught Dad how to work with tools. Dad tells lots of stories about the things they built in the shop. The pull has come loose and the screw broke when I tried to get it out. I'll take a look at it after we eat. Nana has made all my favorites for dinner. Simple stuff that probably wouldn't bowl you over. But because Dad's cooking skills are limited to a frying pan and the barbecue, I never get them at home. Like roast chicken with stuffing and gravy, and apple crisp with a blob of whipped cream on the top. Nana asks me her usual questions between the getting to know you conversation with Jen. You know the questions. The how's school question comes first, which of course I answer with fine. Then comes, what have you been up to lately? To which I say, not much. And then there's sometimes some meaningless comment, and following that, since Nana happens to know about it, a question about how I did on some test. You must be into final exam soon. How did you do on that math test? Fine, I repeat. At this point, Dad feels always the need to speak up. This time he says, Pam got a terrific mark on an English essay, 96%. Ah, now Nana Jean has something to talk about. Oh my, how clever. She's always done well in school, she tells Jen. She gets it from her mom. What about me? Demands Dad. Oh, and you too, dear, of course. She turns back to me. Tell us, Pam, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ah, there it is again. Well, okay, Nana, since you asked, I'm going to be a shiftless drifter when I grow up with no fixed address. If I said it, wouldn't that just blow her right out of her chair? But instead I say, don't yo yet, I'm undecided. Maybe a writer of some type or an artist. Then I get this brain attack, or maybe a banker like Jen. I smile smugly. Not sure why I say it, or why I smile like that. It's just one of those things you come up with, just to shake things up. Oh, Jen giggles, looking a little surprised. But Dad gives me his sternest watch it look. Nana Jean does not like my answer at all. I see, she says, before doing that silent thing for a bit. Like Jennifer. After dinner, Jen and I help clear the table. Dad goes out to the garage, and that's when things really start to fall apart. Jen excuses herself to go to the washroom. While she's out of the room, Nana wants me to sit down at the kitchen table with her. She takes my hand in hers. She seems like a nice lady. Jen? Oh yeah, she says the odd, weird thing once in a while, but inside I think she's all right. Nana listens, and she looks at me in this curious way. Of course, she begins. Whatever happens, you must never forget your mother. Forget her? Forget my mother? Well, this is a tad inappropriate and out of the blue. I've been feeling all right up until now. Why would Nana say such a thing? Why would she want to wreck my evening just like that? And before I know it, tears begin to squeeze right out. Nana kind of panics. Oh, now, Pam. She tugs the Kleenex from the box on the windowsill. Look what I've gone and done. She pats my eyes. All I meant, dear, is, well, that comment you meant about being a banker. What is it with adults that they take everything you say so literally? Can't we be allowed just one little joke? Anyways, I'm not listening. What makes her think I could ever possibly forget my mom? Doesn't she know how my whole world is ruined? The tears keep on flowing. My nose is running. Nana Jean searches for another box of Kleenex. I shouldn't have said anything, she fusses. There now, Pammy. She pushes a wad of Kleenex in my face. Blow, dear. Come on, blow hard. I take the Kleenex and blow my nose. Hard. I am having a full-blown breakdown again. I don't know what it is. It's been a whole year, and I just can't seem to get past hearing a reference to my mom without all the emotions jumbled inside gushing right out. I'm sniveling and honking, and I'm in this messy state when Jen comes walking back in the room. Oh, I think I hear her say. She kind of hesitates like she doesn't know whether she should stay or go. Nana Jean has her arm around me. Oh, Jennifer, please sit. It's all my fault. Poor Pammy, I just mentioned her mother. I should have known better than that. Yes, you should, I want to scream. I've told you before I can handle my feelings myself, so just butt out. I'm always butting in when there's not my business. With her free hand, Nana tugs the Kleenex for herself. I only want the best for my family, she sniffles. Oh, she moans, a weak little cry like I've never heard before. I love my family. I really do. I don't have anything else, not since Richard passed away. She takes her arm away from me and blows on her own nose, hard. I am surprised to see tears run down the wrinkles in Nana Jean's face. The face that has only ever shown one emotion, none. Now I'm crying for her as well as myself. Jennifer looks all concerned. Richard, that was your husband? She takes Nana Jean's hand in her own. Nana Jean is so sad she can only nod. He must have been a wonderful man for you to miss him so much. Oh, he was, Nana kind of wails, so full of life. He was always joking. He really made me laugh. Jen pats her hand. Tell me something about him. I'd really like to know Ken's dad. Bingo. I don't know if Jen planned it, but she sure hit on the right question. It sets Nana Jean on a roll. She talks for half an hour straight about Grandpa. about how they met, about how they furnished their apartment with cardboard boxes when they were first married, while she worked as a secretary and Grandpa took engineering at school, about the places they lived, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Japan, as his job took him around the world, about Dad and Uncle Sean being born, then later Aunt Andrea and Uncle Nick, about their happy times and sick times, the good times and the bad, about how Grandpa found something good in every situation, and oh, how he loved his kids. Would you like to see a picture of Richard holding Ken just after he was born? Yes, of course I would. Nana opens. Nana opens her locket. Nana opens the silver locket she wears around her neck. It holds a picture of Grandpa looking very much like Dad does now, cuddling Dad as a baby on his lap. Grandpa has, like this magnificent smile on his face. Oh, Jen coos, holding it closer so she can get a better look. This is so sweet. I don't know if it's too much dust in the air, too much emotion, but Jen dabs at her eye. Isn't it? Nana dabs at her own eye again. I have a whole album of them together if you'd like to see it. Oh, yes, I sure would. Jennifer sniffs a little until Nana returns. Together they look at the album, the one I've seen many times before. Pictures of Grandpa and Dad together, fishing and working in the shop, pictures of Dad as he was growing up. The album is titled Richard's Little Gaffer. Nana sees Jen looking at the title. With the first one, she explains, you always get a little silly. They usually get the biggest fuss. Jen is obviously touched by it. She is majorly touched by it. Personally, I think it's the word gaffer that gets her all choked up. It's one of those words she could relate to. I mean, more than anyone else. Little gaffer, she splutters. Isn't that just so sweet? I pass her the box of Kleenex. She passes it to Nana Jean. Nana Jean passes it back to me. And although each one of us is doing it for our own reasons, we continue to snurf and snivel together. This is the state we are in when Dad returns from the garage. At first, he doesn't say anything. He just gets this horrified look. What on earth is going on in here? It's all right, dear, Nana begins to explain. We're just having a little chat. Sniff, sniff. Dad looks past at her, at Jennifer with her eyes all red. A chat? He looks at me. Bama, would you like to tell me what's going on in here? I would, Dad, but it's one of these women knowing women things you wouldn't really get. Like Nana said, we've been having a little chat. He is not happy with my answer. He expected me to tell him more. He looks back at Jen. Are you all right? Oh, yes. She blows her nose in this resounding sort of way. Perfectly fine. Your mother's a wonderful lady. You're very lucky, Ken. Seriously baffled, Dad rolls his eyes and shakes his head. He goes over to the sink to wash the grease off of his hands. We drive home in total silence. I know Dad is thinking the entire evening was a mega bust, but I know better. I know that Jen got through to Nana Jean in a special kind of way. She let her talk about the person she loved. She let her remember him out loud. She listened while Nana told her how special Grandpa was and how happy they'd been together. Jen made Nana Jean smile.